Okay, so let's get started with this lab on land cover. And we're going to go to our project folder and open it up and make sure we have all green lights. And once we do, that means everything's been synced to our hard drive on the computer we're working on, and we can begin to open up Pro. So just double click on the root file. Okay, great. So let's close out of our layout and our map. All right, and we're going to continue following our typical workflow. In catalog, we're going to open up maps, and we're going to right click on our base, our template, go to copy, and then right click on maps and choose paste. Okay, and then gently double click on this, and we're going to call this ecosystems. Now there's a lot of different land covers that we could have chosen from, such as farmland, the National Land Cover Database, but I'd like to use ecosystems this time. So let's double click on our map to open that up. That looks good. And now let's do the same thing with layouts. Okay, so once again, right click on our base, copy, come up to layouts and right click and choose paste. And then we will double click on that and call this ecosystems. Okay, and now let's double click on ecosystems to open up that layout. And let's get a few things set here. All right, so what we're going to do is we are going to double click on our map frame. Okay, and all of this, let's start over here. This looks good. And the display, now I do want to add a border here. Okay, so we're going to do a 0.35, just a thin border here on the inside. Okay, and now here, let's change fixed center and scale to none, because we are going to change the map that our map frame is referencing, and we are going to choose the ecosystems. Okay, so give that a little time to load. Okay, so by choosing this, it zoomed out, but there's an easy way to fix this. Okay, we're going to right click on our Llano boundary and choose zoom to layer. Okay, and then let's go back to our map frame. Okay, and if you remember, our scale was 1 million. Okay, so you can choose this. And then we had this rotated at 3 degrees. Okay, perfect. All right, now we can choose fixed center and scale to lock that in place. And let's choose a Control S. Okay, so let's come over to our map. Okay, this is our working space, and we are going to need to get the ecosystem data for these 3 states, and I've looked at the ecosystem data that we could get through the portal, and it's good, but the number of ecosystems that we're going to deal with, and trying to work with the legend the way we did the last time with soils is going to be a bit unwieldy. So we're going to get our data online. So let's open up a browser. I'm just going to hit the Windows key and just type in Chrome and enter. Okay, and then just type in EPA level 3 is fine, or ecoregions. Okay, whatever comes up, just type in. If you don't see this, just type in EPA ecoregions. You'll definitely find this. Okay, so click on this guy. And there's 4 levels of ecoregions. Okay, the first level is really at an almost global level. So the areas are regional, they cover multiple states. Okay, and then as you get to level 2, it's more refined, and then 3 is probably what we're going to be doing today, and then 4 you have just a number of ecoregions, as you can see here, which is going to be a little bit too much for our map. Now, since we have multiple states, we are not going to download by state. We're just going to get the entire country. Okay, and so let's see where that is. This is level 3 ecoregion shapefile with state boundaries. Okay, that's probably one we need. Just want to see what's up here. Okay, this is going to be good for us. Okay, this is level 3 and 4 ecoregions of the continental United States, and I think the 1 and 2 level is in here as well. So let's click on this. All right, and here again, level 3 and 4. Okay, so here's level 3. All right, so these are shape files, and that's not exactly, it is not ideal. Okay, so when you download shape files, I want you to follow this workflow. Okay, and we're going to download these without state boundaries because we have them, and it's usually a good idea to just get one data set at a time. Okay, and then they also have ecoregion symbology, and we need that as well. So let's just click on this, and your download should start. Okay, and it's not a big file, as you can see. And then let's click on level 3 ecoregions symbology. Okay, so if you navigate to your download folder, here's what you have. Okay, and I'd like you to unzip this level 3. If you don't see extract all here, you can just right click and you'll find it in here. Okay, and then just hit enter. We don't want to bring this shapefile into our project. As I said, this is an antiquated file format for GIS, and we are going to import it into our geo database so that it becomes a feature class. All right, so let's do that now. We can go back to Pro. All right, and let's go to our catalog, and then up here we'll go to project. Okay, we can close up maps and layouts. And now let's open our database. Okay, and what we can do here is, since this is for the whole country, let's just bring it in here, okay, to our project folder. And we can do that by right-clicking and choosing import feature class. Now, it's kind of weird because we're importing a shapefile. This is just the way they have it set up. Okay, So it's asking us which features do you want to bring into your geodatabase, okay? And again, it's not here in our project, so we're going to navigate using this folder icon to our desktop, okay? And if you have this home button here, or this icon, not our desktop, our downloads, this is handy. It'll give you these popular folders, okay? So I'm going to double click on downloads and then open up US Ecosystems Level 3 and simply click on this shapefile and choose OK. All right, and then I'm going to leave everything else alone and just choose Run. Okay, great, and that did not take too long at all. So I'm going to go to View Details. Sometimes it'll give you where it's at, and it's not doing that. So let's go to our Downloads folder again. Now, we're going to delete this folder that we downloaded because we no longer need it at all. The shapefile is now a feature class, so just delete that. But we want this layer file because it is going to symbolize the ecosystems for us. Okay, so select that, and you can do a Control X for cut or use the scissors. Okay, and then let's go back to our class folder and open up our project. And we're always going to put these layer files and style files, in this 08 styles. So you could just do a Control V, or you could do a paste here. Okay, so we're looking pretty good. Now let's come over to our catalog. In fact, we can close out of this geoprocessing pane. And if we open up our catalog, now we are going to see US Ecosystems Level 3. Okay, so we are going to want to put these underneath our boundaries. All right, and so let's just drag these over carefully and just place them here. Okay, great. Now, I want to go over with you how symbology works, okay? So if you remember when you were young and you would watch pirate movies, they would always have a map, and on that map was like a rough, drawing of the geography of a region or an area, and then they would have symbols on it, okay? So they would have like, I don't know, like a little chest of gold for the booty, and then they would have skull and crossbones for beware, and so those are symbols, and they're used to tell people what is located in that area of the map, okay? And that's all we did here. So for example, I have my cities, my populated places open, and we symbolize those simply with a red color, okay? And we did the same thing with counties and states. So all of these are symbols, okay? And the art of cartography is map making, is making your symbols almost intuitive to the viewer. Now, as you saw with soils, you can't always do that because, we had a dozen or so colors, and people need to know what those colors signify, and that's when you need a legend. And legends used to be called keys because it was like the key that unlocked the hieroglyphics, so to speak, of your symbols. It would tell your viewer what the symbols meant. But as much as possible, when you're creating symbols, you want the symbols to do part of the job of telling your audience what it stands for. So example, you're always going to want to make your oceans and your rivers and your lakes blue. You're going to want to make pasture land or grassland maybe green. So you're always thinking about, why am I making it this color, or why am I making it this line weight, okay? And there's also a lot of industry standard symbols that, depending upon which job you get after you graduate, you're going to start to discover, okay, this is the, standard way that we symbolize that this is a, a healthcare area, okay? So here we have these eco regions, and right now, if I turn them on, they're all being symbolized by this blue box, and obviously that doesn't do us much good at all. So I've turned off my boundaries, and you can see these outlines of these ecosystems, okay? Now the EPA has developed standards for how these ecosystems should be symbolized, and that's why they included that layer file for us, okay? So what I'd like you to do is right click on your layer, okay, and go to symbology, okay? And right now we are symbolizing all of our ecosystems using a single symbol, okay? But we would, of course, want to choose unique values, because every ecosystem is unique, and we want them each to have their own color. Now, it doesn't add all of the values at first, okay? You have to tell it to do that. And one of the reasons why is sometimes there could be, 200 values, and they'll say, hey, are you sure you want to symbolize 200 features with different colors? Okay, and normally, that's something you wouldn't want to do. It would just be overwhelming. But let's click add all values, okay? And now you can see this is the way they look if each one was given a different color, okay? But as I said, many government agencies, many industries, they have standards for the way certain features should be symbolized, which is very helpful to us, because then we don't have to pick out the colors. And it's also helpful to people that work in this industry, because after a while they'll instantly know, okay, this is arid high plains, just by looking at the color. Okay, so let's load in that EPA layer file, and we can do that by coming up here to the hamburger icon, okay, and clicking on that, and we're going to choose import symbology, okay, and we'll find that symbology layer, okay, in our project folders, okay, under styles. That's where we put it, and we're just going to choose this guy and click OK. All right, and then it matches everything up the way it's supposed to, and we just click run. Okay, so there we go. Now the ecoregions are symbolized with the industry standard colors, okay, and they look pretty good. They chose colors as best as they could, considering that they have a great deal of data here, a number of different features, but these colors were used for the purpose of trying to intuitively let you know, okay, this is an area with lush vegetation, this is a mountainous area, okay, so that kind of thing. And then you can always just click on one of the features, and all of the attributes from the attribute table pop up. So this is the Central Great Plains. Here's the Llano Estacado that we're focused on. Okay, this is the High Plains, South Central, semi-arid. All right, so they actually do have they have three of the levels of the ecosystems in your attribute table, okay? But we're going to stick with level 3. If you wanted to, you could make a map of the level 1, okay, because that data is in there for you. And if you wanted to do that, you would simply come back here, and instead of your level 3 key, you would just choose, let's see, your level 1 code or level 2 code, okay? So we don't need to do that now. Let's come over at this point to our layout because we have all of our data set, okay? And let's do a Control S and save our project, okay? And let's just look at our sheet of paper, and we really don't have a whole lot of different ecosystems here, okay? And that's kind of nice. I mean, we could put a small legend here, and that would take care of, I think, what we have on our page. So let's do that now. We're going to come up here to the Insert tab. We're going to go to Legend. Let's just choose this first one. Okay, and for now, just draw it out. We're going to get it placed exactly where we want to later on. Okay, and let's stretch this all the way out. Okay. And this is so big here, you don't have to do this, but I want to show you, this is so enormous because it's including every ecosystem in the US, okay? And that's never what you want. As I said in our soils map, you only want the features that are on your map to be in your legend, okay? So let's fix that right now. And then we can move on to mini section 2. So here's what we need to do first. Let's select everything that we don't need in our legend, okay? And now I'm going to hold down Control to jump over Eco and grab Hillshade while these are still selected. And then I'm going to right click and just choose Remove. Okay. Now I'm going to double click on Legend, all right? And that'll open up the element pane, and we're working with the legend as the element, okay? And let's come down here. We don't want to show the legend title, okay? Now, there's a lot that goes on in this legend formatting, and it can get a little overwhelming, but what you want to start with is this home pane, and go to show properties, okay? And then let's wheel on in to our legend, okay? And we don't need the layer name, okay? And we don't need the heading because we're gonna put a nice title on here. Okay, now here is the beauty of working with data that you downloaded yourself. This very rarely works when you stream data in. Okay, and that is this checkbox here, only show features visible in the map extent. And our map extent is what is on our sheet of paper. So watch what happens to our legend when I click that. Boom, that is so nice, okay? Because if we streamed this in, we would have so much stuff we didn't need, and then we would have to make it into a graphic, break it all up. So you have to weigh the pros and cons of using streaming data versus downloading the data, okay? So let's finish up what we have here on our legend. I'm going to double the size of the patches. So I'm going to type in 48 and tab. And then I'm going to type in 24 and tab. Okay. Now I want to stretch this text all the way out. Okay. I don't want it to be on 2 lines. Okay. And again, there's a lot that's going on in this legend pane. So just follow carefully. Okay, and go back to the main pane, all right? And what we're going to do here is go to legend arrangement options, okay, and let's go to spacing, okay, and the space between the classes, each one of these is a class, is 5 points. Let's see how that would look with 10, okay, and that looks good, all right, and we may want to keep this on in 2 columns, and each one of you can create it the way you would like, okay? But I still want to stretch out the text so it's not on 2 lines. And occasionally I have a hard time. Okay, here it is, word wrapping. We don't want to wrap the descriptions or the labels. There we go. Okay, so just uncheck those guys, all right? And now we can put that up here. And if I come up to layout and choose the full extent, okay, that text is pretty small considering the size of our sheet of paper, okay? So let's come up here to text symbol, and it always goes to Tahoma. I don't under. Okay, so I'm gonna go to Arial. Okay, and I'm gonna make the size a 16. Okay, so that's a bit bigger, and 16 is plenty. Remember, 12 points is the size of a letter in a typical textbook. 10 points is the size in a newspaper, and then 8 points is when you're really into like a condensed novel or a legal book or something. Okay, so 16 is plenty readable, and I wish they had a semi-bold. So let's see if they do here. Black, narrow, bold. This black is super chunky. I usually don't like to use bold, but I think that looks pretty good there. Okay, now we also let's leave this alone for now. I'm going to do a Control S, and we're off to a really good start. Okay, we got a lot done quickly, and of course we're going to make this look so much better, and we'll start doing that in mini section 2.